Hello. In today's video, we will be discussing friction. Friction is a name given to the force that acts between materials that touch as they move past each other. Friction is caused by the irregularities in the surfaces of objects that are touching. There are two primary forms of friction, static friction and kinetic friction. First, we will learn about static friction. That's all.
Here's another example of static friction. We wear shoes to protect our feet and keep us from sliding around. The treads in the bottom of the shoes are what creates the friction between the ground and the shoe. This experiment proves how much friction shoes have on the ground. The rubber band has to stretch more to get the shoe to start moving than it does once it's already moving. As long as everything else stays the same, the force of the static friction should be greater than the force of kinetic friction. In other words, it should be easier to pull the shoe with the rubber band once it's already moving.
For this experiment, I will be using a phone book and a dictionary. What I did was I intervened the pages of these books, and now I will see if I could pull them apart. As one could see, I cannot pull them apart. Why? Because the books stick together like glue, because each page is exerting friction against the page from the other book. When combined, friction from each of the pages is added up, and it equals a big force.
Experiment, we will be demonstrating the friction between the tires and the ground. As Emily begins to drive down the street, she will step on the brake. The rubber tires will scrape along the road while they stop rolling.
Now as Emily is stopping, the friction is between the tires and the street because she is stepping on the brake. The car does not immediately come to a stop. While her foot is on the brake, the car is still in motion because of kinetic friction.
For this experiment, Rachel will rub this balloon against Emily's head. The balloon is filled with oxygen, which is charged by friction because there are two objects being rubbed together, Emily's hair and the balloon. When the balloon is rubbed against her hair, it creates static friction, the force that prevents two surfaces from sliding past each other. The hair becomes polarized, so the ends are positively charged and the balloon is negatively charged. Opposite charges attract, so that is why the hair sticks up and stays attached to the balloon.
Today we demonstrated the different types of friction. Static friction is the force that prevents two surfaces from sliding past each other. Also there is kinetic friction, which is the friction of two materials that are sliding or moving over each other. Static friction was demonstrated in the balloon and the hair experiment, as well as the rice experiment. Kinetic friction was demonstrated in the car tires and the ground, as well as the shoe experiment. Hopefully you have learned what static and kinetic friction are from our video.